Can you hear that? Can you hear it? Almost absolutely nothing. Just the sound of my aircon unit. Anyway, we made it. 40,000 subscribers. And I say we because it's not just me behind these videos, it's a team of people. It's Olaf behind the camera, it's Jana doing the edit. 3 people who make videos that I'm extremely proud of. And I'm very pleased with the reception that they've enjoyed with you guys over the past year and a bit. And thanks go out to my team for helping me realize my vision of videos, pro shop videos, that reflect the luxury nature of the products that I'm discussing. For me, that's very important. I always wanted to make them with a half decent camera. Luckily, I stumbled across Olaf, who has this epic camera. I mean, it's broadcast quality. He is a professional cameraman by day, and he also shoots videos for us sometimes, although selfishly right now he's on vacation, so I'm talking to an empty room and just this camera here. And then thanks go to Jana. I was very lucky in a weird kind of way that Jana was made redundant by Audiophile magazine, and she decided to come and do videos for me, as well as other stuff, which I'll get to in a bit. Now, some of you have asked where I get my review units from, my gear. And the majority of it comes from the manufacturer. It lives here for about 2 months while I assess it, while I script a video, make a video, while we edit a video, while I shoot photos and then write the article that goes on my website. And then it goes back. It goes back to the manufacturer. Other gear I have on long-term loan from some manufacturers. So some of the gear that you see here regularly in the rack over here or speakers over here it's still owned by the manufacturer. They can recall it at any time, but it's on loan to me. And no, I don't get free stuff. And without meaning to sound a little bit arrogant, I just don't need it. I have so much gear here. I have more than I can almost possibly store. And so, yeah, I have enough. And sometimes I'll even buy gear just because sometimes I want to own it or other times I want to review it. We've got a video coming up about the Technics SL1500C. I bought that unit with my own money. That will be a video. I've got a pair of Klipsch Forte 3 here, and they will probably, I don't know whether I'm going to make a video about those. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But anyway, I bought those. I bought a pair of Sony noise cancelling IEMs last week. There will be a video about those. So I work with a mixture of long-term loaners, short-term loaners, and gear that I buy myself. And that brings us to how I fund my job as basically a full-time audiophile. And let's start with how I don't fund it. So about 3 or 4 months ago, just before Munich, a German distributor phoned me and said, "John, we love your videos. Can we pay you to make one for us?" And I said, "Sorry, no, my videos are not for sale. But what I can do is put you in touch with Jana in New York. She is a freelance video production unit. So she does shooting, editing, and motion graphics. And she can come to Germany for Munich and shoot that video for you." And that's what this distributor did. They hired Jana, they brought her over to Munich, she shot videos in Munich, and those videos ended up on the distributor's YouTube channel. Not on mine, on the distributor's, because that's a private thing, that's a commercial, promotional video job. I don't do that. I just make videos about hi-fi gear. Sometimes review videos, sometimes interviews, other times just videos that really have no description. And yet, I have to get paid for my work. And I don't say that as somebody who's just arrived on YouTube with a slightly petulant attitude that I must get paid. I have been reviewing audio gear for almost 10 years. In fact, this month is my website's 9th birthday. So some of you will know me from that website. Other viewers will only know me from this YouTube channel, but I've been reviewing gear for a long time before I started this YouTube channel. But also what's interesting is that my website pulls in about 250,000 unique visitors per month. And the YouTube channel, which is only a year and a half old, that is pulling in around, in its best months, around 200,000. So next year, my YouTube channel will be as big as my website. And not only do I run my own website, I have written for some of the world's biggest hi-fi magazines. So Darko.Audio, Six Moons, and I also wrote a piece once for Audiophile magazine. So I have experience across the board, not just with my own channels. That's how I fund this channel. I sell advertising on my website, and I've been doing it for 9 years. And probably for the first 4 years, I made next to no money selling advertising. Just a small amount, just enough to keep me going, but I also had another full-time job that became a part-time job on the side. And then just before I moved to Germany, I turned this into a full-time job. So my income comes from hi-fi manufacturers. And those manufacturers therefore fund my time and also video production costs. Because these videos, well not this one, but generally our videos cost money to make. I have to pay Olaf, I have to pay Jana, and I have to be paid myself, obviously, for my time. But there's also a very important part of this equation is that the manufacturers that are kind enough to support me financially are also paying for the videos of products made by other manufacturers who don't advertise. So for example, recently I've done an AudioQuest video. They are an advertiser, but their advertising money in a way also paid for the Diviale video that I made and the Volumio video that I made and the Amazon Alexa video that I made. And I would like to thank my advertisers for their generosity and their commitment to what I do for promoting the audio world to a more mainstream audience. This channel is not about, not always anyway, it's not about getting super nerdy about audio gear. It's about making it relevant and making it relatable. So from a viewer's perspective, if you go to my website, Darko.Audio, you will see advertising all around the page. So you can see the companies that have given me money, and then you can make a decision yourself about whether you think my videos have credibility or not. So that's entirely up to the viewer, but you are given that information. The banner ads give advertisers exposure, but they also serve as a statement of financial interests. Now you might think that I take every advertiser that comes my way and wants to give me cash, and that is absolutely not the case. Because about 4 years ago, so as I turned this gig into a full-time job, I sat down and I made a list of all the hi-fi companies that I wanted to see as advertisers on my website. So I took that target list of advertisers and I pursued them. And over the last couple of years, I think I've managed to net about 80%. So the advertisers you see on my website are the advertisers that I want there, not simply the advertisers that come to me looking for exposure. Because I want to make sure that the products that they make, that I like them for a start, because they have such a prominent visual placing on the website, on the homepage and everywhere, that they need to speak to my editorial stance. And that editorial focus is always being refined and honed. Many of you will notice in the last couple of years, I've been banging on about Future-fi, hi-fi gear that I think talks to a more forward-thinking audience. I've also introduced the concept of Kallax-fi, which has really resonated with many of you, and that's great. I think that's fantastic, actually, because I never expected that. I mean, I made that video almost on a whim, so sometimes you just have to take risks and you have to try things out, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So what has changed this year? Well, you can see from the piles of CDs behind me that I've really got back into the compact disc this year. Many of you who saw my CD video will know about this. Again, there was a video I never expected to really resonate as much as it did. And that's great for me. I mean, I really enjoy it when I make something that resonates with you, the audience, and you agree or sometimes strongly disagree, although I do wish some of you were more polite in the comments sometimes. Somebody this year referred to me as Jason Statham with Down syndrome, which I laughed at, but I was also utterly appalled by. So, I don't know, some of you are quite rude. I do moderate comments on the channel, but I'm going to be taking a more of a hands-off approach with comments moving forward. Other changes this year, we launched a merch store. This was Jana's idea. If you want to support Jana as a viewer, you can buy a t-shirt. Oh, we're going to do mugs soon, I think, as well. But anyway, you can buy a t-shirt a bit like this one. This says Audiophile across my chest here. That helps support Jana a little bit. But let's end this video with a thought and a question. So my question is, like, what is the best movie soundtrack album of all time? I have two candidates here. They are Lost Highway, David Lynch movie, which features the best version of David Bowie's I'm Deranged, way better than the version on Outside. And then this is the Until the End of the World soundtrack, which was a movie made by Wim Wenders, I think, in 1991. The movie wasn't great, it was very long, it was a bit boring, but the soundtrack has got Talking Heads, Lou Reed, R.E.M., Depeche Mode. It has Elvis Costello, Nick Cave of the Bad Seeds, Crime in the City Solution. So if you have a favourite movie soundtrack of all time, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this 40,000 subscriber celebration acknowledgement video. As always, thank you so much for watching, but also thank you so much for subscribing. You know, it still feels totally ridiculous to be talking in a room with no one else here and talking into a camera lens.